4 years later, it's just like we've all grown up with each other and everything.
Everyone's hitting puberty.
Oh, this is unbelievable. Emma Watson, on the phone, on set.
On the bed.
On the bed, with her shoes on.
I think everyone sees each other changing, and it's kind of like a family growing up.
Hey, Dad, where are we going? Having the foggiest. Keep up!
Between the third and the fourth, there was a much more substantial time off. And so when I was coming back here this year, I was just really, really excited, and because it was just great to be back here with everyone who I've got to know so well after the last few films.
When you come back after there's been a break between filming, it's just like seeing all your friends again after you've gone home from boarding school.
It's a lot better than school.
It actually felt really nice to have the glasses back on. I think I'm now going to have to insist that all the roles I play are visually impaired in some way, so they all need glasses, just to make me feel at home.
No, we can get that.
It's really nice, actually. You really do find that after being away, you miss people, and it's really nice to come back and see them again.
It gives you a feeling that you're not coming to work, you're just coming to see your old friends, really.
Everyone is really fun, and I think everyone gets on well.
I even get on with the Slytherins and that.
We're all friends down here, and there's certainly no grouping off. I don't feel anyway between different members of the cast.
It doesn't matter if you have the biggest part or just you're in I don't know, a few scenes. It's quite everyone's together with everyone. This one, there are lots of new characters introduced. There's Victor Crumb, there's Cho Chang, Cedric Diggory, Fleur Delacour. There's some fantastic new actors and actresses who are also sort of around our age as well, so that's great.
It's quite nice to have sort of a new sort of face and set, so it's quite sort of exciting.
When they first come, a lot of them had not done things before, and so they're a little sort of awestruck at the whole big, massive sets and people like Alan Rickman and Maggie Smith.
I didn't really know what to expect because I haven't really been in other sets before. So it was quite a shock for me.
Very good, darling. Well done. Well done, well done.
It's always exciting to get on that kind of set, because, I mean, it's just literally a small village.
You go into Leavesden and it's enormous. It's got this whole Harry Potter world, and I'd never experienced anything like it.
When you get thrown into an environment like all the crew and cast are here who's known each other for ages, it's like being a new student at school.
Right at the beginning, I just literally sat by myself and never talked to anyone and just drank 25 cups of coffee every day.
The actual very first thing we shot, I felt as if my heart was going to jump out my body.
I think we're able to understand what it's like. It's quite a daunting task, just stepping onto the set one day and just saying, hello, this is your dressing room, this is what you've got to do for the next year.
When they come in, you try to make it really friendly towards them, and a lot of them are really cool as well, so they just sort of get right in there, and we're all good friends, really.
He's a nice chap.
At first I thought that, they would be a bit, behaving a bit strange to us because we were new, but that didn't happen. We were really warmly welcomed.
Coming in, I mean, because those people have been working together for nearly 4 years, they include you, and they're lovely people.
As soon as we all met each other, we clicked like that.
Everyone's pretty close. I hang around with the people from this a lot outside of when I'm not working as well.
I would say the girls hang out as a group because we like to gossip about boys and stuff, so it's better when they're not there.
My first date was Stan's first date, and so I kind of bonded with him.
My friend!
Every morning I'm looking forward to coming in and hanging about with everyone because everyone is just so nice.
Then we have the slightly more adult cast members who are Mad-Eye Moody, who's played by Brendan Gleeson.
Oh, no, you don't, silly!
I've always seen him in so many different Irish films. I've always said, yeah, I'd love to be working with him. So it's pretty much like a dream come true.
Constant vigilance! Constant vigilance!
Brendan Gleeson makes me laugh so much. I don't know how I got through those scenes with him. He was so funny.
Young love.
And then we have Miranda Richardson, who plays Rita Skeeter.
You! Don't even start, you silly girl.
She's absolutely horrible. She's such a piece of work. No one else could play her apart from Miranda.
Great music.
She's brilliant.
So, who's feeling up to sharing?
On this one, really more than the others, there've been a lot of new people. So Mike was incredibly keen to make sure that we didn't get on set and just everyone not really know each other that well.
I remember the first thing we got told is before the shoot, we were going to do a sort of drama workshops for all us kids.
We actually had, you know, sort of workshop sessions where we were all sort of getting up and improvising scenes together.
We had to act out something where we were scared of something, and we had to come up with something, and it was quite fun.
We all got to know Mike, got to know the new characters, got to know each other again.
It's a great way to, you know, get a first contact with everyone.
I don't know about everybody else who are the new people, but I was just so desperate to look cool in front of all of them, especially as I was older than them as well. I was really desperate, and I probably ended up looking very uncool.
I think Mike was encouraging the competition in us, he said.
Hey, come on and sit right there. Okay.
Mike's such a really great character, and he's got such presence.
Behave like you would at school, okay?
I think one of the things that Mike has brought to it is a real sense of British boarding school.
He's very, very English. He wears a waistcoat every day, which I just quite like because you don't see enough waistcoats anymore, really.
I always get quite nervous when you sort of find out there's going to be a new director because you sort of get quite close, and then it's quite nerve-wracking to see what sort of person it's going to be. But Mike, he was great. Yeah, really good laugh. Yeah.
Rupert, I'm terribly sorry, old chap. Just take a beat before the wave.
With the scene that we were doing in the Great Hall with it's James and Oliver.
Action! Cut it! Cut!
We weren't doing it as well as what Mike wanted.
Okay, who wants to fight? Whichever of you wants to fight. Which one?
So Mike literally jumps on Oliver.
And everyone was just like in awe looking at this director hustling with that. So yeah, that was really cool.
I think he was hobbling around for about 4 days afterwards because he sprained some muscle.
He gets involved. He does all he can to help us.
Instead of sitting there in his chair watching the monitor, he's out there and he's doing it and he's giving back energy to the actors, and I think he's great.
Of course, what we will do is to do it again, because we always do. But that was a genuinely good one, okay? Well done.
When you're working, you have a lot of adrenaline and stuff, but there's a lot of waiting around.
Once again, we find ourselves in the Great Hall and slightly bored.
It's quite easy to get bored just waiting around, but we definitely over the full film, so you kind of think ahead.
Yeah. Oh, a pendulum.
I mean, I bring my guitar down, so as long as there's no one else about, I'll get that out. It's like
We'll bring like a games console in, just play games.
Emma actually developed a slight obsession with game.
I just like to say, I got her past the zombies and a number of other zombies.
I tried to make out that I was really good at the game and that I could go, yeah, this is easy, what's all the fuss about? But of course I was really not very good at all because I'm not very good at computer games.
Here, let me try. Come on, let me try. I'll be
Fine, you try.
I'll do it. See, and then we'll get
This is when mine and Emma's relationship breaks down.
There's not a huge amount of things to do. When most of the other actors who you're working with, like the young actors, are always in school.
You got boys and girls? Lovely school.
I've only got half an hour left.
School was a lot more sort of hectic. We were all sort of preparing for our GCSEs, which are really big exams.
Back to tutoring now.
Enjoy.
In a way, it was hard because we didn't get to spend as much time together as we would have liked, but in the other way, we all completely understood why that was, because it was like we were all in the same boat. Basically, we knew how hard we were all sort of having to work, and it all paid off because, you know, everyone has done, you know, really well.
Is she in Mrs. Rowe?
So, we have my lovely wall. This is my very messy dressing room.
We are in Leavesden for about 11 months at a time, 10, 11 months, and so it is really nice to sort of, to once in a while get out and you know, just film in another place.
I love being outside, and going on location is fantastic.
On this one, we went up to Oxford again, and it was great.
Yeah, Oxford's lovely. It is a nice place. This great, huge university college we film at is a real nice location.
When we go, you get 15 of us all staying in the same hotel, and we go out and eat after filming and have a good time.
It's just like going away with your friends and stuff and doing the filming and stuff and then nightlife together. It was good. It's a good change.
There's a ferret scene where Malfoy gets turned into a ferret.
It was a live ferret, and like, they gave me like trousers with double insides in, one for the ferret to go down, and obviously to protect it from scratching my leg.
Yeah, but keep your feet solid. All right.
It was a good ferret. It was trained.
I actually did have to reach down his trousers. Not very pleasant, but it had to be done.
Luckily, the ferret wasn't really me. Luckily, they brought in a stunt double ferret.
And remember, you're really enjoying the eating. Get eating. Action!
When we were doing the dessert scene, there's these incredible towers of ice cream and these chocolate trifles, and I have to admit my mouth was watering throughout the whole scene, and just be told it was fake, made of plastic. It's incredible, and they do such a good job.
There are so many different aspects of how this film comes together, and there's so many different departments. One of the departments that I don't think gets enough credit is the art department, and I think that would be good fun for a day to see what that's like. Or the ADs, they work extremely hard.
Introduce to your new first assistant for the evening, that's Bonnie Wright. No.
It'd be quite fun to be a runner, you know, running around, and you'd have to like help like each department.
Yeah, I'd love to work in props, I suppose. I'd love to be able to make a fake turkey and plonk it on the table and watch everyone not be able to eat it.
I'd like to be in the, maybe the script writing side.
Because I like to the cameraman look like that. That's quite a cool job.
One thing I've always wanted to do is produce a film.
Art department, if I could draw, but I can't, so no. So probably, I really enjoy creature effects.
I guess I'd really like to try my hand at directing.
What he said basically was, shut up!
I just like to learn as much as I can, really. Even though, you know, it may not always be the most appropriate time, you know, people would be really busy, and I'll be, how does that work? And, yeah, so it may or not always be convenient. I may not have the best sense of timing. But I do like to find out stuff about, particularly about how the camera works.
Oh, what's that? What's it doing?
I'm slightly more kind of confident now, and I'm not so afraid to ask questions. Hopefully I'm learning things and getting better.
Sorry, I just started laughing that time.
Every day it's like an adventure, so I just enjoy it more and more.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing, and we did make the most of it.
I can't wait for, you know, the fifth one.
On Christmas Eve night, we and our guests gather in the Great Hall for a night of well-mannered frivolity.
This year there's the issue of the girls, and the dancing and the Yule Ball.
Everyone was dressed up. None of us had a clue what we were doing.
I knew I was going to have to dance in front of everyone else.
I'm afraid of falling or something, and everybody turned around pointing and laughing.
All the kids were able to let loose.
The whole run-up to the Yule Ball is fraught for the actors with those emotions that run high in people of their age.
For the first time, they are interacting with the opposite sex. They are enjoying it. They're finding it difficult.
Why do they have to travel in packs? I mean, how are you supposed to get one of their own to ask?
What I like about Harry is he's pathetic at the whole romance thing. He's rubbish. There's a really good scene, it was one of the last ones we shot, with Harry and Cho, where he asks her to the ball. And he does it incredibly without any kind of tact. He kind of shouts it out like,
I just wondered if you wanted to go to the ball with me.
Sorry, I didn't catch that. So many people can relate to this terrible issue of asking people out.
I know how it feels to be kind of standing there going, oh, yeah, and having nothing to say.
What happened to you?
You just asked Fleur de la Cour out.
What?
Couldn't help it.
In real life, it's pretty scary. So it was a lot easier to do acting.
The Yule Ball is first and foremost a dance.
I think the kids were all quite scared of having to dance formally.
Right. Put your your right hand on my waist.
Where?
On my waist!
I had to try to teach Rupert to dance the other day. That was pretty strenuous.
This leg moves first, right?
We had to waltz around in front of everyone. It was a bit embarrassing, but it was quite funny, so.
It's hilarious, actually. The look on his face is just marvellous. It's just really great.
When we came off the set, Rupert was like, he just looked at us and said, "Don't say anything. Just don't say anything. Can we?" So of course we had to say something to him.
Never gonna let him forget this, are you?
Never.
We had Wayne, wonderful Wayne, the choreographer, and they'd teach these kids to dance. Some of whom could, and some of whom, by God, could not.
It's so funny. The girls are so eager, and the guy's just not there, not wanting to do it at all.
I think that comes across quite well. I saw some of the rushes of that scene, and it does show the sort of awkwardness that men have with the sort of dancing thing.
All the guys were looking at, each other saying, "Help, I don't want to do this."
I'd like to be able to dance, but I just don't want to learn, if you know what I mean.
If everyone's got to do it, it's okay. If it's only you, then... But everyone's got to do it, so it's just a laugh.
I've been doing my steps, I've been working my feet. You see my feet work?
Yeah. The kids were quite excited about wearing something special.
All the girls got to dress up, and the guys were in tuxedos.
Once you're in that costume, in the tux, and with your cloak on and everything, you do feel a lot more elegant.
Mum sent me a dress.
Mine is just, it's horrible. It's like pink lace all over it, covered in like flowers.
What are those? No, those!
My dress robes.
But they're all right. No lace, no dodgy little collar.
Poor boy, every time he was wearing it, he really had to laugh.
Yeah, I'm not really looking forward to wearing that.
Then, on the other hand, there is Emma, who looks so lovely. The ball's about Emma.
That was like the most important dress. It was like Cinderella. The dress was really a work in process. We kept on changing, it kept on changing and kept on changing, and Emma was getting nervous because she thought, what am I going to wear? And at the end, yes, we got it.
It was absolutely gorgeous. I was absolutely terrified I was going to rip it or spill something on it or anything. So literally, I would not sit in it, I would not walk in it, I would not do anything in it apart from what I had to do in it because I was so worried I was going to wreck it.
Before she comes down the stairs, she just peeps around the side of a pillar and looks down. You know that at that point she changed into something.
Emma was never ugly. So, she's always been quite beautiful. So, I mean, I was kind of like, wow, you're just even more beautiful. Obviously, it's a huge moment in the film, and it is a big transformation, but for me, I'm kind of like, well, I've seen you at premieres.
I was so nervous about the whole thing because it's meant to be such a big moment and it's going to be an anticipated moment, and I had so many pointers from Mike about how he wanted to look. I got down about 3 steps and fell down in front of the whole set, which was incredibly embarrassing. But no, it should be good in the film. You won't see that bit. But no, it was good.
Walking into the set of the Yule Ball was absolutely amazing.
Everyone had to pretend they were in awe when they came in, but I think it was really genuine, actually.
It's the best set I've seen so far, I think.
The description in the novel is that it's a kind of ice palace, really. There are icicles hanging from the magic ceiling. So we've taken that maybe a step further.
When I went in, I was absolutely gobsmacked. I cannot tell you how beautiful everything looked.
You recognise it as exactly the same space, but the transformation is nonetheless pretty complete.
The whole thing, of course, looked like Swarovski crystal and was stunning.
Right, this is my big dance day.
How many times have I done it? I don't know.
Everyone else had about 3 weeks, and I only had about 4 days to learn because I was doing another scene. And so I'm quite proud of what I managed to do. But it was very hard, and I got to about halfway through, and then I would kind of just lose it completely. It is just a rehearsal.
And you can see him on the screen. You can see dear old Dan, who works for absolutely everything. And at the minute, at any rate, things may change. At the minute, God did not necessarily mean him to be a ballroom dancer, and it's just very funny. Because, of course, that's the character's dilemma, and there he is. He is absolutely his character at that point.
But because Harry's not very good, I felt I should play it down. I would have liked to be very impressive. In my mind, I could see myself, everyone going, oh, he's such a good dancer. Wow. And it didn't happen.
And it needs to be much wilder. It's a bit like, yeah, a bit tame, yeah? Much wilder, yeah?
It's part formal and part informal. So, yeah, that'll be a good first time you've seen a mosh pit at Hogwarts.
You had to get these kids who would be completely abandoned to the music. They were marvellous at that. They completely lost themselves. They went, and it's great.
So now I will bow my hand.
And I'm going to come over to the dark side.
There you go.
Yeah.
There were a lot of boys, a lot of girls, probably more in a more loose environment than we've ever had. And boy, did they have a blast. We all did, I have to say. It was really fun.
I think what Mike is really trying to capture is the really awkward teenage stage where girls and boys are interested in each other, and neither of the sexes quite know how to be.
It really kind of takes the whole boy-girl dating thing and sort of exaggerates it slightly, but just enough so it's still believable. And it's very funny.
It was enormous fun.
The Darmstadt champion is Victor Krum. The champion for both battles is Fleur Delatour. The Hogwarts champion, Cedric Diggory. We now have our 3 champions.
Morning, Stan. How are you? I've missed you.
The first thing in the morning, we arrive at the studios where usually the ADs are waiting for us to arrive, and then we go to breakfast.
It was pretty early starts. Saying that, like, you can't really complain. Whenever you arrive, however early you arrive, there's always 500 people there who've been there for like 2 hours.
So what's next? What are you doing after breakfast here today, Rob?
Not today. I have thing and makeup at 7:30.
Good morning. It's 7:15. Late. Yeah, Clemence is a bit late today. I'm a bit late, but we're not going to worry about that. I think I've overslept a bit.
I'm usually okay at getting up quite early, so yeah, every morning at 5:30, you know that you're going to have to wake up. That's part of the job, really. If you turn up late, you miss your breakfast.
I'm stealing some orange juice.
There's like 2,000 people working there. Like, they're all, without exception, they're all nice. Everyone. Because I think having to work with kids, you've got to be quite friendly. Otherwise, it'll just drive you insane.
This is Philippa. Hey, Philippa.
Hello.
What does Philippa do?
IAD Robert, in theory. Try and get into the chair on time.
There's a lot of ADs, and they basically tell you what you have to do. Because of that, you do feel like you don't have to worry about anything else other than your part.
These are the dressing rooms. This is my dressing room. Cedric.
Stan was in the room next to me for the majority of the time.
This is my uniform. I shall go and find out when I'm getting dressed.
We're at hair and makeup. So I'm just telling Jan that I've washed my hair this morning. Washed my hair, good girl.
I'm going to get rid of my hair. As you can see, it's quite a lot now.
This is like...
It's like an
sharing.
So this is the morning
the morning thing. The morning ritual. I quite liked having makeup put on, to be honest. You don't have to think about anything. You can go out really late the night before and then you can look a complete wreck in the morning, and then it's up to everybody else to fix you up.
Now I'm going to have my makeup done. Powder and everything. It's a bit girly.
Could you confirm first shot this morning?
Cedric clean just before he gets deaded.
Thank you.
I'm alive today.
Pre-death, just about to die.
These are all the wounds from being attacked by the magical hedge. This is my big makeup job. All this stuff takes a little while.
So we're going to the place called the Flight Jet, where we're going to be shooting the courtyard scene.
This is how we know where to go, what to do.
What is that?
This is a call sheet. We get these every morning. Sides. If you have any lines or whatever. That's the ones from the graveyard.
What was your line today?
Cedric, get back to the cup. What are you talking about?
Because it is such a big shoot, everyone has to do something different at the same time. You keep going back and forwards from the first unit to the second unit.
So it's all been quite exciting here because we've had a massive change of costume for Stan for this scene.
Very good.
Yeah, it's
Very
great.
proud.
It's to show off his guns. Suits you, sir.
This is the real thing.
And then I believe you'll be wearing those boots. May not look great.
I think there is a mistake.
So Stan's complaining about his costume because he doesn't think that these brown trousers are actually going to look good with those boots. So we've got to phone up. So he's complaining now. Oh dear.
Sam, what do you think of his scars? Does it look manly?
Very manly.
Yeah.
Very manly. Rugged and dirty, and it's good. Very nice.
Yeah, so in about 5-2 minutes we'll be going down to set.
Alright.
Can you handle that?
Yeah.
Brace yourself for excitement, Stan.
It's my buggy. It's my drive.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
Yeah. Okay.
So where are we going, guys?
To the set. The graveyard. Why, this is somewhere else.
It's going to be great. Leavesden's a pretty big set, and so they drive you around in golf buggies and things. Because of these elaborate costumes, you can't really walk because basically you'll have to be reset. So I think the golf buggies are pretty necessary.
Going on set. Leavesden isn't really heated except from the sets. So it can get quite cold and you need a warm coat. Otherwise I would have been too cold.
You're just going to be doing a walk straight up the cloisters, and we'll have the Steadicam following you, so we'll be on you and Angelica.
Okay, we're not dancing.
No, this is just purely a walk.
First up will just be you going, who are you, what do you want? And then we'll put the rig on you and then you'll be doing a jerk back.
God, I did have quite a good thing to do today.
X1558, take one.
And action start. Go.
Well, I can't say it was hard work getting chased by girls, you know. It's quite a nice feeling, both, you know, when you're filming and in real life, you know, who wouldn't enjoy that? But, you know, it's nice to be playing someone like that.
Everybody in position. Roll camera. Action!
All I'm worried about is the face, like pain face. It was quite an awkward scene to be shot because it had to look painful, and if you're just being pulled back the conventional way, it doesn't hurt too much because you're just landing on your back. But that one, they had to it had to be like a coil. I had to get hit in my groin.
So say something.
My name's Robert.
Well, at least we'll see the pain in your face as you go.
What do you want? Kill the spare. Avada Kedavra.
There was a problem with the sound I was making, because like when you're being pulled up like that, you kind of make a natural sound, and it didn't really sound very spectacular. It's kind of like or whatever.
Good. You okay? Yeah. Very good.
So that's very difficult what we're doing today.
Yeah.
Walking.
Lots of concentration.
Very emotional, demanding scene.
I'm going to eat now.
What do you think of the food in the cafeteria generally?
It's generally pretty good, and I don't have to pay for it, so it's I don't mind. I don't eat very much anyway.
Finished the courtyard scene. We've had lunch, and we're going to go to hair and makeup to get some checks. So I've been having a little nap, and I think everyone will notice. And then we'll go down to the Great Hall and shoot the arrivals of the Beauxbatons.
On a film like Harry Potter, you're actually on set about 2 hours a day. So you wait a lot.
We are waiting for me to get called to go on stage.
Where are you going?
Flight shed.
We're going to the flight shed to do the very last scene in the film.
Scene 106.
So this is what you guys do, you know, in your downtime? Card tricks?
We do everything really.
Everything and anything to keep ourselves amused.
We got involved into magic tricks with cards. So, you know, everyone started, you know, learning how to do magic tricks, and we were showing to each other, which was a great laugh. And there are the 4 kings. Magic.
So yeah, so lunch is done, everything's changing, and I'm doing the port key arrival at the Quidditch World Cup. Everyone falls down, but I figured out how to fly. You just use some wires.
We're going to be shooting in the Great Hall, the arrival of the Beauxbatons, and then some bowing and some spinning around.
It is always a bit embarrassing when you have to do things that you haven't been trained for. I mean, I'm not a dancer, but, you know, film is great because they can edit it and make it look good, even if it wasn't that good.
Got it.
Okay, that's yours, let's go.
Like, Stan goes and changes.
Okay, Stan, you go and change into your swimming costume now.
We'll be up in about 10 minutes for you to do your dive.
Swimming costume for Stan.
When the set is getting set up and all the cameras and everything, we have stand-ins, which are basically people who sort of look like us in a way. And they are basically there for all the measurements and, you know, all the lighting to get right.
That's me. That's me in the wig.
Stand by.
Hey, well, you critique his technique. Critique.
Action.
He did it better than me.
So Joe is hiding under a buck fever cap. She just told me I was wrapped, and so we're going to go and see Murray and look at some pictures we did the other day.
I will have to change. Yeah, whoops. I'm afraid I will not be able to show you. Right. We are here to see me dive in the deep waters of the ocean.
Really? Where do you jump from?
From up there, let's hope it goes well.
How did the training go?
It went very well, I think. I've come quite far since I started, so hopefully it will pay off now.
You can have that.
Oh, is that for me? Yeah, sure. Oh, thank you.
We did quite a lot of photo shoots on that film because Murray, the photographer, was around all day. He was part of the crew. He's someone we know, so we had fun doing that.
Oh, that's a cute picture.
She's disappeared.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of the dive because we didn't have that much time, you know, to get it sorted properly.
Stan did his dive?
He finished officially.
That's a great part of the day.
Yeah.
I'm wrapped too, so I'm gonna go and get changed and go back home.
We had so much fun on set. Well, I personally never thought, oh my God, I just want to go home. You know, I just didn't want to finish.
End of a long, hard day. I'm off. Goodbye.
And now our fourth and final contestant.
And the try was a tournament. You've got 3 tasks. The first one is fighting a dragon.
It's a very good, savage creature.
Mike Newell is not only exploiting the humour, but also the drama. And this is deeply serious.
He's mean. He's not there to play, you know, he's there to get Harry.
It really feels, I think, in the film that we're not sure if Harry's going to survive.
The first task, or the dragon sequence, is our biggest sequence on the movie. It's about 140 shots.
It's a magical world, so things like dragons, they're just a part of their life, so we have to make it as integral as possible.
In the case of the horntail, we had some descriptions already from J.K. Rowling's initial ideas about what this creature should look like, but then there's always room to play.
CG, although tricky to shoot for, there's no limits.
The look of the dragon is designed and created by the art department and the model shop and the creature shop in London. So what we get from them is a design in both the form of artwork and also a maquette, which was a 14-foot wingspan, fully textured and painted model. And that model was scanned into the computer and formed the basis of creating our computer version. My job as animation supervisor is to take that model and then start figuring out the character of the horntail dragon, which was our primary responsibility.
Harry steps out and is immediately attacked by this dragon of, monumental size. We see Harry in real peril.
Steve Rollins really did a great job of finding that character and really making that dragon scary.
What sets the horntail dragon apart is really more to do with his attitude and personality. I decided that birds of prey, eagles and hawks, the way they kind of fly and attack, their kind of posturing and their elegance was sort of a good starting point.
There's a lot of twitchiness and a lot of unpredictability, which I think gets into that character and makes you really wonder, what's the dragon gonna do next?
Dragon!
Is he gonna hit him with the tail? Is he gonna blow fire on him? I think that really comes in the character, that scariness.
Incorporating the dragon into the footage that was shot in the rock quarry set is always a challenge. You have a set that's already been built and lit, and you have a camera moves that have already been filmed based on something that's not there.
Accio Firebolt! Dragon!
A lot of the times it comes down to a lot of different tricks depending on the shot. If Harry's in the stadium and he jumps off of a rock or something, oftentimes we'll actually transition into a CG Harry so that we can either get him closer to the dragon or we can get him to jump on his broom.
The biggest artistic challenges in dealing with the dragon is figuring out how he would fly.
We watched a lot of dragon films, and one of the things that was most important about dragons was their aerodynamics. So we started to talk a lot about aerodynamics, and could it really turn that hard, and how fast could it climb, and did it need to take off?
So we went into producing some animation tests to show them how they can be agile but at the same time have a sense of mass and size. And these tests are what we show to the director and what they buy off on, and then move forward from there.
Something else that we also found as we started working through the sequence was that he looked a lot scarier when he was kind of backlit, so more of a shape. Also, like when he opens up his wings, you see kind of light through the wings as if they're slightly translucent or transparent.
First task had to just be something a little bit bigger than what was written in the book, and so when we came up with the sequence of flying around Hogwarts, it really put
the pressure on us.
It's all a virtual environment so that we could do anything that we wanted, and that makes for a much more cliffhanging experience, if you will.
Part of the sequence where Harry gets knocked off his broom and lands on the roof. When Dan was holding onto that roof, there was quite a fall.
Is it faster or slower or the same?
It's pretty much the same speed.
Same speed. You're going down the cage.
It was interesting because it was very, very physical, which I enjoyed. That was really, really terrifying, and I'm not afraid to admit that. That was really scary. Anyone would be scared, I'm convinced.
Dealing with the dragon hanging off of the side of Dumbledore's tower was a fine balance. For there you're dealing with poses that make him feel like he's really hanging on, but at the same time they didn't want him to feel timid or nervous. They wanted him to feel like he was comfortable and at home, to really make the sequence feel intense and a sense of danger to Harry. This dragon is sort of the result of many years of work, developing, honing sort of skills, both technical and artistic.
It's seamless. You really believe that Harry is facing this dragon. In real life, nothing was there.
I think it comes down to everybody that was working on it. We've done our job and made the movie more scary.
You are trying to figure this egg out, aren't you?
What's that supposed to mean?
Just means these tasks are designed to test you. In the most brutal way, they're almost cruel.
Welcome to the second task.
I'd say the biggest challenge in terms of filmmaking was the underwater task. We had to somehow create the illusion that this was real.
Harry Potter worlds always have full CG environments, but this one is just extensive because the underwater's new. You've never seen it before.
And it's not a natural environment that we're creating. It's obviously it's our own version of what one would expect to find at the bottom of a Scottish loch.
It was felt that the look of somebody underwater in the close-ups couldn't really be recreated as well as it looks if you do it for real.
So it then became clear to us that we were going to have to shoot this underwater in some form or other. So Dan had to learn how to dive, and we had to build a tank. And that, of course, was hugely challenging.
When you leave pool, swim, do a back somersault, and then back to your kit, yeah? Okay.
Dan rose to the challenge and undertook something that I think many adults would have been fearful of. He was brilliant.
We obviously wanted to get as much practice in as possible for the underwater stuff, so we trained for about 6 months before. We started off not very deep at all, just in a normal, quite shallow swimming pool. It was great because I just could go down there and be confident. We all wanted it to look as natural as possible, and so that's why we trained for so long. And then I was ready for the 20-foot tank.
How's that, Dan?
Yeah, it's great.
Very good.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Being youngsters, we needed to be able to create the underwater environment, so we designed and built this tank. It's a very complex piece of equipment. The tank itself holds about 500,000 gallons of water, which is 2.5 million litres. It's probably the best tank in the world for filming.
When Dan's in, go straight over to the roster with Dan.
That's Dan descending down the stairs here.
When I actually went in, it was so vast, so much more so than I had actually imagined.
Dan, so nice and slow on the way in.
Dan also has to worry about one other thing, which is performance. It's all right swimming around like a fish, but Dan eventually has to give you the Harry Potter performance.
Stand by. 3, 2, 1. Breather out. Action swimming.
Probably the most difficult sequence will be when Dan has to rescue the two characters and to swim with them to the surface.
Grab! Throw your head back when you grab!
Lovely.
Perfect, Dan.
Really nice.
The second unit people planned so that no shot would last longer than between 9 and 11 seconds, because that's as long as you can do without air and keeping your eyes open.
Dan, split your look between the green light and the nod. Yeah.
The main thing that really sort of was a bit frustrating was the fact that communication is obviously quite difficult.
Dan, on action, you turn to camera, quizzical look, and go.
There are certain signals like this. This confused me, because this means, quick, I'm drowning, get me up to the surface. Whereas to me, that means, hey, I'm fine.
Dan, that was really good. Do exactly the same as that last one. Thank you.
I just have my AD's voice. I tell him, he tells him, so they hear one voice.
Look to his right now. Look to your right again.
Okay, and go for air.
Air in, air in, air in.
On dry land, here's your mark, and underwater, it's not as easy as that, you know. So you add all that into the mix, and you realize what an effort it was for him to do that.
Hit! Look it up.
Close to the camera.
Close camera, air in.
Very nice.
Do you want to go to the habitat for a minute?
This shoot is quite unusual because of the duration whilst we're in the water. So we've designed an underwater habitat, and the artists can go inside. They have communications to us. They have a playback monitor, so they're completely up to speed on what the director or the first assistant would like them to do for the next shot.
Each shot was sort of quite seriously structured in terms of pre-visualization and storyboards. So we had a sense of what we needed, and gradually we pieced the whole together in a sequence that was essentially Dan against a blue screen.
We wanted this lake to be miles long like they are up in Scotland, and that was all going to be done in the computer, so we had to figure out how to do blue screen underwater.
Cut there. Very nice, Dan.
That was very, very groundbreaking, shooting plates against an underwater blue screen. A lot of research went into that, and they finally came up with an underwater blue screen lit from behind.
The blue screen setup for shooting was quite an enormous challenge for the electrical guys. There's a tremendous amount of cable, there's a tremendous number of fluorescent tubes. It achieved another goal as we move forward.
Swim higher, Robert, swim up to Bruce.
You have no idea what the scene is going to look like. There was nothing in the water at all. There's just just massive amounts of blue screen.
I really enjoyed the diving, and it was hard work and it was very physical, but it was really rewarding. I got given by the stunt department, this was my Christmas present for them, which was the Professional Diver's Daily Record. And it has in it every dive that I ever did while filming, and the total time that I spent underwater was 41 hours and 38 minutes over about 3 weeks, which again, I'm very proud of.
And then, with the aid of digital effects, we had to create the environment and create the characters that inhabit that world.
There was a lot of discussion about the look of the environment to begin with. Everyone wanted to go for a sort of a green underwater look rather than the more tropical blue, because it's supposed to be a deep, dark, dank lake. We ended up creating countless different varieties of plants so that there was always movement.
The most important thing for the challenges was to get across to the audience that Harry was in danger.
Each creature is designed because virtually nothing is from the real world. We don't want to compromise, we want them to feel real and unique and authentic. That's what we've been aiming to achieve. Our mermaid is very much a creature of the deep. We did have discussions about the mermaid designs. When the audience sees it, it has to feel and seem 100% real.
It's great that the mermaid's faces are like a fish. You know that it's a female creature, but it doesn't have very female features. It has a fish face.
They were quite hard to get this balance between gracefulness and elegance and beauty, and at the same time still be scary. One of the things we all felt was key was to make them not look as though they could possibly be a person in a mermaid suit.
We went to the route of the tails moving like this, which was just an impossibility for a human to sort of even mimic.
Stuart Craig in production design department designed Crumb. It's quite a bizarre concept, having half human, half shark. It's great in the sequence. He starts off coming towards you and all you see is the shark's teeth, and it's quite scary. And then as he comes past, you see these little human legs kicking him along behind, wearing swimming trunks, which it was quite entertaining and quite fun trying to make that. The Grindelows are something out of the imagination of everyone involved in creating them, I suppose. It's always challenging to come up with fantasy creatures like this that have nothing that you can look at and compare to and say, yes, we've matched that right. One of the things we always have to do is try and find creatures that are as similar as possible, or at least different aspects of them are similar. Like we looked at squid and octopus to try to get some of the skin texture from them. And it's a process of iterations of creating something and discussing it and changing it until you eventually come up with a creature that everyone's happy with.
There's a lot of fabrication, a lot of imagination while shooting it, and a real challenge, but an awful lot of fun.
Very good, Dan.
In the maze, you'll find no dragons or creatures of the deep. Instead, you'll face something even more challenging.
My favourite task to do was probably the maze, because I just really like the idea of it. I just think it's such a scary concept.
The maze amplifies the negative points in your character.
The hedges move and we fight each other inside. You know, it's a huge competition.
There is a very strong implication that the maze is alive.
We all started to realize the maze itself is a creature.
The roots are terrifying, they're menacing, they're just gonna snag you if you let them.
It's quite creepy.
This film, Goblet of Fire, we had the maze, which was a fairly major scene which we had to tackle and shoot very early on. We had to create quite large sections of this maze that moved and developed its own persona. So early on in the movie, that was our sort of biggest challenge. It had to be able to chase the children through it. It had to move as though it was going to crush them with the actors inside. That involved for us quite a huge engineering build because the walls of the maze were 25 feet high.
In our case, we tried to make it taller than you've ever seen and bigger than you've ever seen. So you're in channels which are just 5 feet wide, but 25, sometimes 40 feet high. So it gets pretty intense and pretty desperate in there.
The maze scene was quite claustrophobic, really.
Set, action.
The very first time I went on set, we were filming the maze. It was absolutely enormous, and you know, I was new to the whole thing, so you know, I was quite nervous, and you know, my heart was like, you know, literally pumping really fast.
You will encounter no dragons in the maze or creatures of the deep.
The maze itself was really sort of mystical. It was, you know, loads of smoke around, so everyone was really interested and excited about what was going to happen.
Action!
The maze has a malign personality. It's like being alone in a completely dark, soundproofed room. You begin to doubt your own existence.
It's a really creepy sequence because you're not sure what the danger is when you go in, and we immediately get a sense that the maze has a life of its own.
Cut. Very good. A little sooner, okay? Once more.
Mike actually was very keen to make it very much more psychological.
The maze is not the only danger within, because while in the maze, things can happen.
It's the fear about not knowing what's behind the next corner, not knowing what's behind any corner.
There's mist, you can't see very far, you've got the live maze, and that's really shocking.
The maze is, acting-wise, the most interesting task, because really it was exploring how deep you can go into that fear thing.
It's like it reduces you to your animal components, and you become savage and wild and uncivilized.
Everything's a bit magical, and so we took that and made the maze a living creature too that actually attacks.
It's tremendously violent, incredibly active, and that could only be achieved in the digital arena.
We have CG hedges, lots of wide CG establishers of the maze environment, from close-up detail to the big, broad, grand scale.
Because we set this thing in Scotland, the scale of that landscape was playing a part in this.
With the establisher shots, I think the most important thing was to make it just seem gigantic and how small they are within it. So you have this first shot where you come up from Harry and then you show the whole maze and it's like as big as the valley. It's gigantic. There are points in the sequence where Harry and other characters get attacked by hedges and attacked by roots and chased by hedges, and our task was to make it just claustrophobic and dangerous and just generally very, very, very scary.
We start off with a live action plate and any 3D elements that have been developed. We bring those and integrate them into the live action plate to try and make something look seamless and totally photorealistic.
Almost 90% of the routes you see is visual effects. All these sequences we had to add CG routes to the scene to make it more dangerous and scary. You know, how does a route attack? The animation team would spend a lot of time just sort of like hitting each other with them and trying things out with them.
Start the effect!
I think the balance came was they always had to be quite gnarly and angular. Brief moments they could go straight, then they could wrap around things very quickly. There's a balance between whip and snake and a root-y character. Cedric's on the ground, initially shot with ropes tied to him, you know, pulling him. Stuff.
And action!
Our task was to make the maze scary, spooky and eerie and trying to stop them at every possible corner.
What's scariest about it is the dark avenues.
Some game, huh? Some game.
Ultimately, it's really leading you to the final challenge, which is the battle with Voldemort.